Hi there. Today we're gonna tie a very easy shrimp. This is gonna be made from only 4 materials, but it's gonna look like $1,000,000 when we're done. But it's very easy, and well, it won't take very long to tie. First off, we're gonna use some teal and some EP shrimp brushes, some of the ever cool, always awesome easy shrimp eyes. They come in a lot of different colors, but for this fly we're going to use the yellow. As you can see here, some pretty nice colors and very fluorescent as well. The orange and the yellow one. And well, basically, oh, and some bucktail as well. First up, we're going to take some of this teal. Just take any old feather will do. We just need this to look like the mouth parts and stuff like that of the shrimp here. So I just take this feather here and rough it up a bit, like so. Tie this on here. That's a bit too long. Something like that looks good. So that is basically to give a little contrast and to have something that is a little different from all the rest we're going to use, like so. Steel feathers are pretty nice for this part of the fly. Then I'm going to take the bucktail, and here you want to take some of the thinner parts of the bucktail that is towards the lower part of the bucktail, and these I'm going to use as antennas and stuff like that. Legs and other protrusions. Protrusions. That's what it's called. Protrusions. I don't know. I hope so. So I'm just gonna make these a bit more uniform in length, like so. And this is actually gonna be kind of like a false hackle or something like that. And since the bucktail is fairly stiff, it will still add some movement, but it will also not be as likely to simply to cross down under the hook bend here, like so. I'm gonna cut this leftover over residue off there. Give this a hard time with the tying thread to ensure that this really stays there. Also over the, as you can see, I've added a bit of weight here. In Denmark, lead is prohibited, so this is non-lead wire. But if you have lead, then use lead, because lead is fairly good, like that. And then we're gonna use the shrimp the shrimp brush. It's an EP shrimp brush, and it's fairly cool. I'm just gonna tie this down here. I'm gonna tie it so it starts where the tail starts, like so. And I'm gonna use some thread here to make this secure and stick on there, so it won't simply swoosh around when I'm done tying, like so. And this is very cool. It has a lot of dubbing coming out here, so this is kind of like a pre-made dubbing brush. Very easy to use, and looks great on the flies, and looks particularly great in the water. I'm gonna use this a lot in my shrimps from now on, for the shrimps in my fly tying box. Not my fly tying box, my fishing box, of course. Tying one of these shrimp eyes down, I showed you before. They're very cool. They come attached to this kind of like this. I don't know what you would call it. Kind of this ledge here that has some riffles on it, so it will ensure your thread will keep it on there, so you don't have any. I've said that before, but I'm gonna say it again. Pirate shrimps, of course. We should do hashtag pirate shrimp war. That's something you won't come across every day. I'm just gonna tie a bit in between the eyes here, simply to make them stand out more, like so. As you can see here from above, that's what it looks like. And then I simply just take and fold this backwards, and I make the first turn just under the eye here, like so, and then just above the eye, trying to distribute some of the dubbing trapped inside this brush here. And what I'm doing while I turn this is I simply try to hold everything back before I turn it. But I'm not gonna turn it completely on top of one another. I'm gonna have some space in between. Otherwise, this fly here will simply be way too bushy, way too much material. So I have some space in between my turns. And that is fairly important because a shrimp is transparent when you look at it in the water, and that is the effect you're going for here. You want to have a shrimp that, of course, is visible to the trout, not invisible, but you also want a shrimp that actually looks like a shrimp, and shrimps are transparent, so that's important here as well. And since this is made from a wire, from a steel wire, then you don't need any. Ribbing. You can, of course, reinforce it with some kind of rib, but it's actually not needed because it will simply stay where it's put if you just turn it with an appropriate, I would say, appropriate amount of force. Like so, I'm going to turn it all the way up here, like so. And there I'm gonna tie it down like so. And as you can see, in a package there is 4 of these, and I've tied 2 shrimps with this already, and still there is at least for 2 more shrimps. So you actually get a lot of materials in a package like this at a decent price compared to the amount of materials you get. The amount of shrimps you can actually make. Yeah, you could have done some rib here. I'm not gonna do that now. It's of course too late. So I'm just gonna make a whip finish up here, like so. Cut off. Take my sabber gap. Add a bit of that. A bit of this and a bit of that. And as you can see, now you have this really truly crazy looking shrimp here. It's way too bushy. So what you want to do is you want to trim that, but you want to do that carefully because you want it to have the right tapering. So you want it to be not as long up near the eye, but then longer and longer towards the eye of the hook, then longer and longer towards the tail. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna try to pull this up so it stands as it normally would, like so. And then I'm gonna take my scissors and I'm gonna try to trim it a bit, but trim it with an angle so that I cut off most up in front and less towards the back of the fly. So I get a more bushy tail part or part near the eyes than what I have up in front. I'm gonna take another scissor. That one I've been a bit mean. I treated that one a bit mean. Like so. And if you just take a minute or two to get the right tapering effect here, you really get a truly cool looking fly. Fairly easy and again fairly cheap because you don't use that many materials. You use the brush and well, the eyes, and if you have the eyes, if you make the eyes yourself, then this is even cheaper. Bucktail is something you probably have laying around already. It's a pretty common material, and well,